Wow, there's always a lot of excitement when the Cards and Cubs get together, especially in Chicago. If you've never been to Chicago, or Wrigley Field in that matter, to see a game, you've got to check out Wrigley Field and go bar hopping on game days. It's definitely worth it. Just bring your wallet. You're gonna need it. But to dispel any myths about Cardinal fans, I cannot remember or recall anyone out there who wears tank tops, jean shorts, and Timberlands to a game. I mean, that look is so 15 years ago. Oops. Guess I spoke too soon. Wait a minute. Those aren't jean shorts? But it does lead to a question. Got a little captain in ya? Cards take 2 out of 3 from the lovable losers, the Chicago Cubs, extending their unbeaten series streak to 9. But before we talk about the games, there's some side stories that I feel we need to clear up. First, the alleged comments from Ryan Theriot to the ESPN radio station in Chicago regarding the ridiculous stereotype of Cards fans. To start with, he wasn't the one who brought it up. It was the radio show hosts who came up with that. And Theriot was pretty much laughing about it with, haha, yeah, that's it. Don't forget about the Timberlands. This freaked out a lot of people, but keep in mind, it was a joke meant to be in good fun. What was he supposed to do? Tell him that was an insult and I'm deeply offended about the fans of my new hometown? And how the fans in Chicago have been nothing but second class, and how he's glad to be out of that hellhole of a so-called sports town? On second thought, don't answer that. These next couple of picks angered a lot of people in Cards Nation, starting with this one. Of course, the national media and Cubs fans are salivating over this and deluding themselves that he's going to be a Cub next year. The truth is, he was merely consoling Cubs general manager Jim Hendry on yet another of many countless years of failure that lies ahead for that franchise. Which leads us to this pick. Well, you know, Pujols, he's a very generous guy. He's hugging Alfonso Soriano, comforting him on being such a sucky player, especially in Chicago. Which leads us to this pick. Apparently, Tony La Russa has shingles, which has sidelined him for at least the rest of this road trip, possibly longer. If for some reason they can't fix the eye, an eye patch might make him a little bit more distinguished. He obviously won't be sexy like Daryl Hannah in the Kill Bill movies. But maybe something a little bit more refined, like, say, Robert Wagner's character number 2 in all those Austin Powers movies. Now, on to baseball. Tuesday night, Cards win 6-4. And while our ace, Chris Carpenter, finally gets his first win of the season, his outing wasn't too pretty. He did go 7 innings, giving up 4 runs on 13 hits, a career high by the way. However, all of those hits he gave up were nothing but singles. He also walked 2 and hit a guy in the process. His trouble started in the first, when he faced 8 batters and loaded the bases twice. Luckily, we get out of it, giving up only 2 runs, both of which on a hit by Aramis Ramirez, which Lance Berkman tried to make the running catch, but he gets away from him. Carp would settle down to the 7th, but did allow a hit in each of his innings pitched. Only thing, the Cubbies couldn't convert them into runs. In fact, they stranded 12 runners throughout the night. The Cards runs were scored in the first when Matt Holliday gets an RBI double scoring Colby Rasmus. Also, you had Alfonso Soriano, who actually could have had Albert Pujols at third, as he hesitated at second to make it over there. Except Soriano just held on and ran with the ball. What the hey? Then in the 4th, Carlos Zambrano walks Lance Berkman, which was scored on a double by Yadier Molina. Oh yeah, it appears that Kosuke Fukudomi can't find home plate to nail a runner, trying to score to save his life. Next, Nick Punto triples in Yachty. Oh, he had a little help from Soriano, which seemed to have a problem staying on his feet. He falls on his butt, trying to catch Punto's fly ball. It goes all the way to the wall, and that's how Punto ends up at third. Punto would also score in the 7th on a sac fly by Terrio to Fukudomi, who was once again way off on his throw. The Cards led 4-2 in the 7th, as Darwin Barney scores on a sac fly by Carlos Pena and Starlin Castro drives in Soriano for the tying run. But 33 double D, Daniel Descalzo gets the game-winning double in the 8th inning off Kerrywood, scoring both Pujols and Holiday. Miguel Batista gets us through the 8th, and Eduardo shuts him down in the 9th, and he gets his 4th save, and the Cards get the win. On a side note, Albert Pujols goes 4 for 5 with a double and a run. Wednesday night, Cards lose 11-4. It wasn't a fun night at the park for sure. The Cardinals get off to a good start, made some great plays. Colby Rasmus actually showed the Cubs outfielders how to peg someone at the plate in the 2nd inning, gunning down Ramirez on a hit by Castro. They even get the early lead as Punto hits a ground rule double down the right field line, scoring later on a single by Terrio. Follow that with a 53-minute rain delay, and it goes downhill from there. Jake Westbrook, the starting pitcher, stays out there, strikes out pitcher Matt Garza. But from there, Fukudomi singles, Barney singles, Marlon Byrd is hit by a pitch, and with the bases loaded, Ramirez singles in Fukudomi for the 1-1 tie. Pena comes up, doubles in both Barney and Byrd. Then Castro singles and makes it to third on a catching error by Rasmus. Ramirez and Pena would both score. Then Castro would do the same on a sac fly to center by Soriano. We're now trailing 6-1. Acting manager Joe Patini? Well, he obviously throws in the towel. What other reason would you throw Ryan Franklin out there in the 4th inning? Now, I know I mentioned in the past that the only time you put him out there is when the game is completely and totally out of reach. Well, if it wasn't when he was out there, it certainly was when he was finished. He goes 3 innings, has some trouble in the 4th, which he gets out of, but gives up 4 runs on 4 straight hits, 2 of which happen to be triples.
Hey, you're all washed up. Would you please shut up? Take a walk the way.
If it wasn't already, it's now official. His major league career is over. This guy is completely and totally washed up. Time to put him out of his misery once and for all. Why was this bad? The Cards managed to load the bases in the 7th. Rasmus and Pujols had back-to-back singles to score 3 runs. We would have been back in it if it weren't for Franklin. Cubs had another run, but the Cards would threaten in the 9th. But there was no way they can come back from this one. For the Cubs, Starlin Castro went 4 for 4, scored 3 runs, and had 3 RBIs. While Matt Garza goes 5 innings, giving up a run on 3 hits, striking out 7. But the Cards do come roaring back yesterday, winning this one 9-1. Hey, guess who's back with the club? Actually, that was Kyle Loesch. But nonetheless, all you really need to know is the Cards scored 5 runs in the 2nd. Matt Holliday homers to start the whole thing. Jaime Garcia singles in Rasmus with the bases loaded. Then John Jay doubles in a couple more. Jaime scores on a sac fly by Alan Craig. Then Jaime took it from there. He goes 7 innings, giving up a run in the 6th on 9 hits, striking out 4. Rasmus goes 3 for 5, doubling twice and scoring a pair of runs. The 2nd was in the 6th inning. 3 more runs in the 7th, and that was it. Mitchell Boggs and Fernando Salas finished this one out. This week brings the Cardinals to a record of 22-16, 6 games over 500, and a game and a half up on Cincinnati, which happens to be where we're going next. With the Ryan Terrio interview regarding the fashion sense of Cardinal fans, and there's this one Cubs fan with a Giants Cub tattoo on his chest shown through his Cubs jersey. They showed it on ESPN, but I couldn't find the pic. That led to my question of the day. What is the most outlandish thing you've ever seen someone wear to a baseball game? Yeah, I know, I'm gonna make you think on that one. Let me know. Submit your answers, comments, questions, responses, or anything else in the comment box below. Subscribe on YouTube and follow me on Twitter. Cards are in Cincinnati this weekend for 3, and I'll be back in St. Louis this weekend visiting family. Then I'm headed to Busch Stadium next Monday and Tuesday to see them play the Phillies. Should be fun. But first, let's get past these pesky Reds, shall we? Have a great weekend, and go Cards!